Everyone's got that jumper or that knitted piece in their wardrobe that they always wear or they feel comfortable in, or it's something that's always going to be around. I'm a knitwear designer based in London. And I think the knitting route, I mean, for me when I was younger, I always used to see my aunties and granny knitting these jumpers and never thought I would take that route. It was only when I was studying textile design that I experimented on the machines and realised that you could actually do a lot with them. You know, people think they're quite old-fashioned and knitting's quite dated, but for me I felt like you could do a lot and I could design, you know, my own designs rather than being restricted. So it wasn't kind of it wasn't something that I thought as a child I would be a knitwear designer. I think it was just something that kind of happened in the route that I took. A lot of people who studied in my generation would have been taught on these style of machines. You can get the big industrial, but I think because these are more easier to transport and to buy, you know, they're much cheaper, then a lot of designers are working from these. You have a lot more control, so you can really experiment. I love being on my machine, and for me it's like being lost, so I kind of go into my own little world. So it starts to create the actual fabric itself, which will end up like something like this. Sometimes you have bad days where it goes wrong, where the needles aren't working so well. I think when people think of knitwear, they kind of just assume that it's just cashmere or wool, you know, but there's a lot of different kind of blends, and, you know, I think now with the possibilities of new yarns and things like that, it works with the seasons. So, you know, it can be a spring-summer dress. It doesn't have to be an autumn-winter jumper, you know. And I think there's a lot of manufacturers who are really pushing that, and a lot of mills, and, you know, that are really kind of developing the yarns. My most signature technique when I graduated was the cording technique. I developed a lace technique on the knitting machine, which I patented. And basically it was lots of weaving through of the wax cord into the different kind of sculptural shapes. I'm always looking for the new kind of technique or pushing the techniques that I've already developed. So I like to think I've got my kind of style, my kind of technique that people recognise me for.
This one is nearly on the end.
Okay. There's a huge amount of designers of my kind of calibre, my generation, who are really pushing the boundaries. And I think each and every one is doing something individual. Everyone's kind of creating these techniques which, you know, to the eye don't necessarily look knitted either. I think people are shocked by the amount that you can do with knitwear. It's amazing how you can just have one collection which is 25 looks which is just knitwear, you know. Yeah. I think in the last 10 years, like, knitting's really kind of exploded onto the catwalks, and I think, you know, knitting's always been around. It's been in every collection, you know, for years and years. But I think whereas in probably the past it's been part of a collection, I think people have realised that you can do a lot with knitwear. The knitting's just everywhere, and it's just something that will always be in our wardrobe. I don't, you know, I can't imagine it will ever die out.
Yeah. Cool, I think we got it. Done? They're excited.